If you want clients to keep coming back to your freelance business for more and more and more of your service, you got to make sure that you do a good job and that you're good to work with. And so in this video, I'm going to show you 5 habits I've implemented in my own freelance marketing business that's made clients want to keep coming back for my service on and on and on and on. Let's get to the 5 habits. Habit number 1, okay, you gotta be a nagger. It sounds really weird, but let me explain. You see, your clients, they're busy business people. Whether your client is like a digital marketing professional at a startup, they probably have teams to manage and they're just always on the go, go, go. Maybe you're working with an e-commerce brand. That person has to run a store and there's people here and this and that. Maybe where you're working with a coach or a course creator and they have to record course modules and they have to get ready for this launch over here, and the last thing they need to worry about is like this email here that they hired you to do. And because they're really busy, they're gonna half-ass the things that you need them to do. For example, maybe they'll reply to an email without actually reading the whole thing. Or maybe you send over a Google Doc with some copy and they provide you like vague feedback on your copy that's not really helpful to you. Or they keep asking you where certain files are after you walked them through where exactly the file is for the 3rd time in a row. Sounds annoying, right? But here is the thing, you still need to be professional here. Because again, it's not that they hate you, it's just that they're so busy and the last thing they want to do is worry about how to work with you. So what do you do in this case? Well, you got to be a professional nagger. But in other words, you just gotta project manage the shit out of them. Here's some examples of what I mean. Over communicate at what stage of the project you're at, even if it feels excessive and pointless. When you need something from them, let's say it's a feedback for a piece of copy you've written, send them the copy and then tell them, this is an example of good feedback, this is bad feedback, make sure you give me good feedback, I need it by this time, and then as soon as the time is about to hit, you ping them again being like, hey, by the way, Mr. and Miss Client, the deadline to get this to me by is coming up in the next day. Can you get to it? And that's the thing, it might seem like nagging or project managing, but it's these habits that on the receiving end, they're gonna be like, oh shoot, this person's really professional. They really are on me to get me to do this thing. They're very serious about the work they do. They're not gonna see you as, oh, this guy's so annoying, he keeps paying me. No. They're gonna be like, wow, I'm glad that they're over communicating. I'm glad that they're on top of their shit when I'm not. Habit number 2 is to think bigger picture. I remember I was on a sales call with a SaaS founder, and they have a software company, and the software company helps LinkedIn content creators figure out their content analytics and stuff. And so I go on a call with them, and I was like, hey, what's going on, man? What can I help you with? And they're like, hey, I need email marketing. And I was like, okay, that's pretty broad and general. Why do you need email marketing? And he was like, well, I just feel like this is the thing I need. And I asked him like, okay, well, what stage of your business are you at? Like, how is your startup doing? What's the retention rate like? Do you have a free trial offer? And if so, what's the conversion rate like between the free trial and the paid? And so I'm asking him all these high level nuanced questions, and it gave me a really good understanding of where he was at with his business. But what's interesting is he saw that I was thinking bigger picture. So instead of asking about email, open rates, click rates, I was thinking about the business at large. And he could see that I was thinking that large through the questions I was asking him. And because of that, he was super, super impressed with me. So what am I saying here? You get hired to do social media, right? Don't just ask, okay, what kind of content do you need me to create? Ask things like, okay, so what sort of larger marketing campaigns are you looking to promote? Do you have like a product you're about to launch here? Are you launching a new course over here? Are you doing this and this? If so, I think we should tailor the social media strategy accordingly to this. And again, just step back out of your function or the task they hired you to do and think from like a larger business angle whenever you're talking with the client. It's funny, like I've had clients where they ask me like, hey, what do you think I should do with this? What do you think I should do with this? And I gave them my expert advice. And though those pieces of advice on Slack takes me a second or two to make up, but it's that expertise that make them think like, oh, this person knows their stuff. because I'm thinking bigger picture. And that'll make them feel like, oh, they're not just a freelancer I'm hiring, they're actually a partner for my business. Habit number 3 is this. Make sure working with you doesn't feel like extra work for the client. Alex Hormozy said this once in a video. I think it's part of his book too, $100 million offers, and it was very, very interesting. He was like this. Let's say you're selling marketing services and you're an agency owner. The ideal place you need to get to is when the prospect comes to you and they say yes, get them to swipe their credit card and immediately get their DMs flooded with leads, like right away, ideally in the next second, right? That's the North Star of where you want to go. Because the more instant value that you're able to get them with the least amount of resistance, the better. Now, obviously, we can't do that. We're freelancing and everything, but it was a cool North Star of how we should operationalize our business. So when you are working with clients in your freelance marketing business, make sure everything is super streamlined and efficient so that it does not feel like a client has to work more now that they hired you. In other words, make sure they're not managing you. Make sure you give them updates on things so they're not following up with you. Make sure you be very specific about why you wrote this in a certain way so then they don't have to ping you back and be like, by the way, why did you write this headline on this website? I don't get it. How does this make sense? What research do you use to validify this? That also means skip extra meetings if you don't need them. If you can just do one big meeting early in the week, and that cancels out all the small meetings throughout the week, do that. If you need things reviewed, instead of sending it bit by bit, send it all collectively in one Google Doc or Google Drive and get them to review it in one go. And maybe when you're onboarding clients, let's say you work with Trello and you have certain processes in place that you need your client to use right away. Make sure the onboarding is very smooth. So maybe just jump on a one quick call, give them a quick overview of how to use the tools so then you don't have to like repeat yourself on and on and on and on, right? Ideally, you want to make sure everything's streamlined and as efficient as possible. Habit number 4, this is a really cool one I ever learned recently from, I'm part of a copywriting group and I paid for a course. I got lifetime access like 5 years ago. I was reviewing some of the stuff and they still make content to this day. And it was really cool because in the course, they were teaching us how to make your deliverable as a copywriter more consumable for the client. Let me explain what I mean. So let's say you're a video editor, right? And you need the client to give you feedback on your first round of video edits. Instead of uploading the video to a Google Drive and then sending the link to the video to the client, which means the client will now have to download the video, take hours to download, then open a new Google Doc and then write down, oh, at 10-second mark, I didn't like how this was made and this was made. And then you're reading the comments and you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. How does that make sense? It's hard to consume your deliverable. Instead, you might want to use a tool like frame.io that lets you view videos in real time and then pause and hit a mark during the video, which allows the client to be like, oh, this logo coming here doesn't look good. Can we get rid of that? And then they play it again and then 2-minute mark, they're like, oh, can we use a stock image at this point, right? It's easier for the client to consume your deliverables, and that's what you want to do. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, check out my free courses down below in the description of this video. I have one specific course that I think you'll like, how to make your first $5,000 as a freelance marketer. Check it out below in the description of this video. Back to the video. The next thing is this. Questions are like the most underrated thing as a freelancer, especially when you're working with clients. And when a client says, hey, can you write this email for me? And you're like, yeah, sure. It's going to make them go like, okay, well, that was quick. And do you know what I want? Do you know what the KPIs are? Do you know even do you get the idea of the campaign? Do you understand how this fits in the larger scheme of this marketing funnel we have coming up? Do you get that? They'll be like kind of iffy about you, you know what I'm saying? But if you ask questions, it'll make them feel like you're truly listening and understanding, and that'll give them a feeling that, this person's got me and I trust them. So for example, I had a client who wanted me to write an email campaign for one of their sales reps. And instead of just saying yes, I was like, great, I would love to, but before I get to that, can I ask you some questions about this campaign? And this client was in a rush, but they're like, you're right. I should probably tell you more. I'm glad you did this. Yes, what do you need to leave? Can you tell me the goal of this email? I would try to book like a product demo, a sales call. Do you want like the layout of this email in a very specific way? What kind of value propositions can I include in the copy? And as I kept asking more and more questions, they got the feeling that, guy knows what he's doing. I trust him, right? You're gonna give them that comforting, trusting feeling by asking a lot of questions. There you have it, my friend. 5 habits that you can use to make your clients want to come back to you more and more and more for your services and spend more money on you so you make more money. With that being said, if you like this type of content, subscribe to my channel and I will see you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace.